Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ken Lafferty. Today is July 23rd, 2015, and this is the KNKL Show, episode 247, and I already introduced myself. Today is the KNKL Show, where today is Thursday, we normally learn to be better artists. I totally botched it. Should we just restart it? It's such a nice day out, too. It's so perfect. Everything's perfect about today except for the intro. Today we're going to be talking about ideas and how they are the seeds of infinite growth. Seeds of infinite growth, because it is, in fact, Thoughtful Thursday, and that is the day where we like to meditate, think about our lives, think about all the good and bad things we've done, and how we can keep moving forward with our journey to become the most amazing person on earth. And today we're talking about your ideas and how they are, in fact, worthless, and how everybody's ideas are actually worthless. It sounds like a very controversial subject, but bear with me because I'm going to explain everything. I will explain everything. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's talk. And I'd like to begin today's talk with a story. Okay? And this is more just like a hypothetical story. I'm sure you've been in a scenario like this yourself, right? But we're all artists, right? We're artists watching this show. We'll be working, say you're in class one day and you're doodling something on your sketchbook, right? Your friend comes over your shoulder, looks over your shoulder, and he's like, hey, whoa, that's really cool. Wow, you're like a really good artist. But hey, you know what you should do? I have this idea. I have this idea for like this character and like this story, right? I have this idea that you should do, right? You have the skills to make it happen. I don't, but you should do it. And then, and then when it becomes a big success, right? It was my idea. So I get all the credit, right? And this is sort of, basically, this is the scenario that I'm talking about. People that throw out ideas and people that don't do the actual work, but rather give you the idea, think that they actually deserve credit at the end. And they do. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. They do deserve some credit. But you know what the credit they deserve is? They get a little special thanks at the very, very bottom, right? The very, very bottom of the last possible place that you could put a credit in your movie, in your comic book, anywhere, right? And because ideas themselves are worthless. The same thing happens when, this happens all the time in movies. Like, oftentimes you'll hear somebody say like, oh, that was my idea. I had that idea first. Steven Spielberg stole my idea and made a movie out of it and made millions of dollars, right? I was the one that thought of it. He was just the person that showed up every day and worked 8 hours and directed it and helped to like find the actors and worked with the entire studio, right? The studio did all the work, made this thing happen, built the set, built the props, built the giant animatronic dinosaurs, right? And they actually made the movie. But I deserve the credit because it was my idea, right? They stole that from me. And you see where this is coming into play now? It's like, it's not the person that puts the plan, it's not the person that sees the house on the hill, right? The credit goes to the person who actually took the time to build the house on the hill. The person who actually sits down and actually draws up the plans and then proceeds to build it. So and the reason why I'm talking about this is for a couple of reasons. A few weeks ago, we talked about motivational speaking, right? You guys are listening to what I'm saying. It could be classified as motivational speaking. And I think too often we are quick to give credit where it's not necessarily due. Oftentimes people accredit their success to people that they've heard. Be like, oh, well, I wouldn't be where I was right now if it wasn't for Keenan Lafferty, the real KNKL, you know? Or people I like to listen to are Jim Rohn, or say Tony Robbins, Les Brown, all kinds of different motivational speakers. And there came a time where I was starting to give them a little bit too much credit. I was saying my life is the culmination of all of these people, all of my advisors, right? I'm this way because of these people. But really what the case was is no, these people had ideas. I took those and I implemented them into my life and I worked on them every day. They weren't here looking over my shoulder or like holding a gun to my head, like telling me I had to do these things. I had to find the discipline within myself to actually do it, right? And this is something that you are going to do eventually yourself. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because no doubt you will get ideas possibly from me. You'll get ideas from outside resources. You'll get ideas from your teacher, your friends, or people that you look up to. But understand that if anything's going to happen in the end with your life, if anything's going to be changed for the better, it's going to be because you did something about it. You didn't just let your life drift and drift and drift and get into trouble. You took charge of it. You got an idea and then you put in the work. So too often I see artists not taking credit for the things that they really do, right? Or they're self-conscious, right? Or they don't have confidence in what they're doing. And this is a very easy trap to fall into. It's a very, very easy trap to fall into. Here's a great experience, front and center. I'll tell you about when I started to do cons, right? I started to do cons. And I was in a business relationship with someone who didn't end up working out. And the reason why it didn't work out was because it was his idea that, hey, wow, you're really great at art. But you know what you should do? You should take that art and go take yourself to a convention and sell it, right? And I'll be your partner. Like I will book the convention for you. I will sit down and take 30 minutes. I'll take 30 minutes to like find a convention, right? That just how happens to be in a town where I have friends and I can go visit them, and take care of all my needs, right? I'll take 30 minutes to do that. And then you go over there and you go make the art. You go make the posters. You go make the banner and the actual stand, like the freaking metal poles and the things that hold them in place, like the stands and then get the TV and make the TV ad and make every single thing. You show up to that convention, right? But because this was my idea and I'm your partner, we should go 50-50 on it, right? And I did for a long time. I did for probably I think we did about like 8 cons together, right? And immediately at the beginning, this is the first time, I'll tell you guys this, it'll happen to you once. This will absolutely happen to you once in your life. And then it's going to be up to you to figure out, maybe since I told you, you can avoid it, but it's easy to fall into it, right? Because we're not very confident. We're a little insecure. It's like, yeah, well, he really did help me out. Like I just needed that push. I needed I needed somebody who was confident, who believed in me, and he did. So that's worth half of everything that I make, right? I was the person in the freaking garage, like hammering away at this freaking this display thing, this display foot that was gonna hold up this 30-foot tall pole that would stretch a banner between it. 2 of them. I was literally in there like welding the feet like that would hold this pole in, right? And I was working so hard. I found the printer. I worked with the printer to make sure that the quality was going to be great. And then I did the art on top of that. I printed the comics, I was doing Emma and I printed the comics. I did all this stuff. And then for some reason I thought that there was value in the idea. I thought that there was value in the actual idea of doing that. And I was taken advantage of, and it really sucks. So this is basically why I'm telling you guys this today, because I don't want this to happen to you. You guys got to understand, especially as artists, that you have something very, 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 very valuable, right? You have like a treasure, right? And just because you don't know how to go out there and necessarily market yourself, or you need a little push from someone, yeah, push is good. And that does deserve something. It does deserve something because there is value in that. But I'll tell you right now, it definitely wasn't 50%. And when I offered to pay him what he actually was worth, he like anything less, he was willing to walk away. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, then you can go. Because like I can take 30 minutes and book a convention if I want to. But what? I don't even really like doing conventions right now because I had other things that I had to worry about. I got so burnt out from traveling all over the world. And I loved meeting you guys out there. Anybody who came by my booth and was like, oh, I watch your show, and it makes the entire convention worth it. Like even if I'm in a bad mood or I don't even really want to be there, whenever I meet somebody that actually watches the show, it makes the whole thing worth it. And it kind of makes me feel like a real butthead for not enjoying the convention. But anyway, okay, so that is going to wrap up that. Let's go ahead and go into the question catapults. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please cast your questions over the castle walls and I'll answer them. Specifically pertaining to Thoughtful Thursday. Save the art stuff for Tuesdays or post it on the forum or something like that. Yes, today is Thoughtful Thursday, so if you have anything talking about ideas or like maybe you had a friend that said, hey, you know what, you should make this comic. Like I have this idea, you should make the comic, but they don't actually like want to like write it out. Like if they don't have like a literal script where it's like, this is this character, this is what their attitude is like, and then this is how they're going to interact, this is the description of the scene that I want you to draw, and it's all in a scripted format that he hands to you, that person is not the writer. person who sits over your shoulder and talks to you and tells you what to do and tells you what the character to say, he's not the writer. That's just your friend being a friend, and he gets the special things, you know? So, and undoubtedly this is something that you guys will run into. And I just want you guys to understand that you value yourself. Make sure you place the proper amount of value on your skills and less on the person who stands to benefit a lot from it, but all they did was just come in and give you the idea. Because here's the thing. It's like the idea is worthless because just as easily as you did what they said for you to do, they could have done it too, but they didn't. They didn't. And the reason why is because the idea is not the hard part. Everybody has ideas. Everybody has the best ideas that could revolutionize the world. Everybody knows how their country should be being run. Everybody has the solution to world hunger and, you know, all the terrible things that are happening out there. Everybody has ideas about that. But the important thing is who's going to step up and do it. All right. And you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. As Gandhi said, be the change. Be the change that you want to see. All righty, people. I will be answering questions specifically about Thoughtful Thursday. Ooh, hey. Well, this is like kind of art related, but it's also thoughtful. 9999 lol is asking, did you ever have a backlog of personal pieces you wanted to illustrate? Yeah, it's called like 50 issues of my own comic. That's my backlog. But yeah, totally. There's so many things that I want to do fan art of. I love like right now I'm playing Splatoon on the Wii U. Super freaking awesome game. If you guys have a Wii U, please go out and get it. Support this new IP from Nintendo. It's super cool. Love it. So I play games like that, and it's like I want to do fan art of this, and or like Resident Evil is another one of my favorite games. So yeah, there's tons of things that I've been wanting to do fan art of, and I think in the near future I may be having more time to do that, because here's the thing: it benefits you guys too, because I can work on that stuff and then show the process on the show, which is something that I've also really been wanting to switch over to as well. Doing just more paintings, and you guys get to watch my process. Next question. Soapy Harvest is asking, Keenan, all caps, sometimes I feel like I've lost all my talent and can't draw at all. Oh no. How do I get past this, and why does it happen? Okay. How do you get past it? I got news for you, buddy. Soapy Harvest, that is not something that you necessarily get past, because having insecurities about your art or having confidence issues about your skills is something that never truly goes away. And I say that because I still struggle with these things. I constantly struggle. Every single thing that you will do that challenges you, that you are learning something new, you're automatically going to have those thoughts of, oh man, well, I've never done this before, and oh, but what if I mess it up and then everybody sees that I suck? You know, it's like really, you're like scared and nervous, and you know, those things are always going to happen. But what you got to understand is that where I kind of find solace in is that you think of two things, right? A, if you are learning, if you're truly not happy with where you are, right, art-wise, I'm still like, that's another thing. Like, you'll never get to a point where you're like, yeah, I'm like pretty good. Like, even as a professional, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm a professional. Like, I've gone as far as I need to go. Like, as an artist, you are on a never-ending journey. You will do this for the rest of your life. You will constantly look at the next benchmark or the next thing that you want to do with your art. So it really is an exciting adventure. And understand that being insecure or being a little bit out of your comfort zone is just part of it. And take solace in the fact that A, you're learning and you're constantly growing. And B, that really, in the end, it's like, it's going to get done, and it's not the end of the world. It's like, the most important thing is that you just sit your butt down and you get to work. Okay. So don't forget that. All right. A couple more questions, then we're ending today's show. Let's see. Ooh, Aliano is asking a great question. What do you do when you just jump into an idea instead of spending time researching or making sure it's original? Obviously, you can't watch every show, movie, or read every book. I feel like I have ideas, but I get into these moments where it's like, wait, is it cool? Or just make sure you're not copying. Okay, another thing. Yes, everybody wants to be original, but guess what? Nobody is. Everybody is all the things that you love are influenced by like tropes. They're influenced by what's the word? I totally forget what the thing I'm looking for is. Archetypes, all that stuff. All basically all the League of Legends characters, we build those off of already existing like known things. Do you understand that? It's like, hey, we got werewolf, we got archer, we got bomb guy or whatever. That's Ziggs. I mean, Ziggs actually is pretty original, but even that, like the Yordles, like the little furry dudes, it's just like a midget furry thing, It's not super, but it is based on something that already exists. So there's nothing wrong with taking something that already works, and then Ari's a good example. Ari's back there. The Nine-Tailed Fox, that was already done, but Riot took it and then they made it their own, right? They just changed a little bit about it, made it their own character, and then they named it this. They gave it its own personality, gave it its own story. But see how it's all based upon something that people can latch onto. You want to bring people in with something that's familiar, and then take them to where you want to go, right? You don't want to just throw out something completely original, because then people can't relate to it. They've never seen it before. It's weird to them, So, anyway. So yeah, don't worry too much about that. If you want to draw something, don't be afraid to be influenced by others. All right, last question. Do something humans is surprised that I am in fact a man. I don't. This is very interesting that took you this long to find out, but that is good. It's very good to know that. Okay, Grimbark. Last question. How do you deal with lack of motivation in terms of being not good enough yet? I keep stopping myself from going out promoting self because I just keep wanting to get better first. Again, kind of falls into that same thing where you talk about you're always improving. So you're always going to feel like you're not necessarily good enough. I still feel like I'm not good enough on a daily basis. But it's just understand that there's nothing wrong with that. That's just you constantly wanting to, like, you're just not satisfied. You want to keep moving. Be happy with how far you've come, because it took you work to get to where you are right now. So, take enjoyment in that. Be proud of that. But understand that this is an ongoing journey. It will never, ever end. And then just enjoy it. Enjoy the adventure, the artistic adventure. All right. Well, you guys got so many good questions. I'm going to do one more. Let's see. Ooh, Havoc Knight. Havoc Knight is asking, how would you go about owning your own characters? So if you go to a publisher for Emma, how would you ensure you still own them 100%? Basically, as soon as you draw something and put it on the internet, you own it. Like, it's copyrighted to you. So ideally, like, if you really want to be safe about it, you can register a copyright to it. That way you have like the certificate, like, hey, I got the paper on the wall, I got the plaque on the wall, whatever. But really, as soon as you draw something and put it on the internet, it's yours. So, King of Banana. Oh, this is so good. Okay, I got to do this one and then we're done. Oh man, King of Bananas. Wow, just coming right out with it. Is it rude to look at people's bad art just to make yourself feel better about yours? I don't even know what to say about this. I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't want to like just go like, okay, let's go on DeviantArt, find some really bad art, make me feel better, But I don't know. I mean, it's good to like definitely look at other people and be like, oh, hey, this is what I like to do. Is like, if I see somebody that is obviously on their journey or just getting started or kind of in the middle, right, making kind of some rookie mistakes or this and that. Actually, a really good example of this is at Disneyland. I went there recently with my girlfriend, Jillet, as she's in the chat. Say hi to her, everybody. Yeah, we went to Disneyland and we were walking around the store, and wouldn't you know it, we were looking at all the art. And what was strange was they had these prints of like these, they had people that did these prints and artworks of like, say, Frozen and I don't know, Beauty and the Beast, just like different Disney characters. But it was very strange because as you look very close, actually you didn't even have to get close to them. You could see it from across the room. There was a ton of just like amateur mistakes and very like strange. It was actually not good. And strangely, it was being promoted and sold in the official Disney store at Disneyland. And so, like, I know that stuff like that happens. So you can look at it and be like, why the heck is this here? Like, this stuff sucks. Like, what? This is terrible. They should get this out of here. They should get it out of here. Like, I'm so much better than these people. I could do better than this, right? But here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do when you feel that. Is that A, understand that at one point, yay, I was making those mistakes too. I remember when I couldn't draw hands. I remember when I didn't know how to flip the canvas so I could tell if like the eye was getting sucked to the side of the head and looked all weird. I made those mistakes too. And then the other thing that I want you to understand is that, hey, guess who's in the Disney store? It's that person, and it's not me. That person has their art in a store, and I don't. So really, who is the worst artist? So it's very humbling. Understand that everybody's just on their own journey. And if you want to look at other people's art and be like, oh, okay, well, I'm better than them, then, whatever, you can do that. But I would suggest that you don't go looking for it, because getting in the whole, it's just a comparison game, right? It's such a natural place for us to go. Be like, oh, am I okay? Am I okay in life? Well, let me look around. Let me see what's going on with everybody else. And then you purposely seek out people that you're doing better than, so that way you can feel good. It's not a good habit, whether you do it with art, whether you do it with business, whether you do it with any part of your life. So I would suggest that you don't outright go look for it. But again, just make sure that you're humble and understand everybody's on their own journey, and really focus on yourself. Really focus on yourself and where you're going. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the awesome questions. You guys are freaking awesome. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end today's show. So thank you guys for joining me live on Twitch. People on YouTube, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Ken Lafferty. Before we go, I do want to say thank you so much to my awesome sponsors, David Cariello and Laura Bashir. If you want to check out their artwork, I do have the links to their sites in the YouTube description if you're watching on YouTube, as well as on my DeviantArt. So you can go check them out there. If you would like to become a sponsor of the show or get all kinds of other cool goodies, then you can do that by going over to the Patreon. If you're watching on YouTube, and click that link down in the bottom right. And people in the chat, don't worry, I'll post the link in about 5 seconds. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. With all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and end it. So, yeah. So don't forget, guys, make sure you take credit where credit's due. Understand that you guys are putting the work out there, and that people that come, there's always going to be people standing behind your shoulder telling you what you should do with your life. But then when you actually take that advice and then you make something out of yourself, they are owed nothing. You don't owe anything to those people, because you're the one that made it work. You're the one that put the work in. They could have done it too, but they didn't. Okay, so they get to have their, they get to have their results, and you get to have yours. So you guys take care of yourselves. I will see you next Tuesday. I'm going to work my best I'm going to do my best at getting that Lulu done. I'm actually going to be moving pretty soon, so it's going to be kind of tough. But whatever, we'll make it work. We'll figure out a way to make it work. So I'll see you guys on Tuesday, and until then, you guys take care. See ya.